Welcome, welcome everybody. Greg Peterson coming to you from the Urban Farm Fruit Tree Program, and as my name says, the Urban Farm Podcast. By the way, Janis, we
Uh,
launched we launched our 913th episode of the Urban Farm Podcast this last Friday.
that is so cool. Now that's 918, you said?
913 numbered ones, but there's like
Not counting all
900,
the bonus.
not counting the bonus ones, which I may actually do something different about them and count them
Renumber them.
and renumber them or just start
Yeah.
numbering them. Um, so we're very excited about that. But here's the other bonus, the other amazing thing. It's November now.
I know.
This means the podcast, the Urban Farm Podcast, is 10 years old,
Happy anniversary!
right? Well, and
Congratulations!
you were here when we
Wow.
started it, weren't you?
No, I came in right after you started, I think. Or
Yeah,
I was not doing the podcast project. I was doing other projects with you when you
yeah.
started that.
So,
Actually, I remember you starting it because it was a class discussion.
oh, class discussion at ASU.
Yeah, but I wasn't part of that project until later.
Very good.
Mm.
Wow. So
Happy
it's
anniversary,
just,
and thank you to whoever gave us the love.
yeah,
We are
exactly.
we definitely are having a lot of fun with it.
For sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the one of the cool things is that we've never missed a launch day.
We've had episodes every single week.
Yep, for 10 years. The first 3 years, it was 3 episodes a week.
I know. I was working then. That was crazy.
That was a project. Anyways, um, yeah, there you go. I just realized that as I said, remembered it was November 1st, but 10 years. I think the numbering will have us be 1,000 episodes by the end of next year.
Oh, I already did the predictions on that. I agree.
Yeah, cool. Oh,
I
Miss
agree.
Tammy's in the house. Hello, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy.
Tammy, for those of you that have interacted with us at the fruit tree lot, Tammy is the wonderful, wonderful, amazing person at the front desk when you walk up
She's
and
our
say
greeter,
hi.
our check-in lady.
Yeah,
Our
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
So, all right, shall we get this show on the road?
What exactly is our show today, Greg?
We are doing a virtual tour of the urban farm, and um,
I'm going to go ahead for the slides right now, real quick.
perfect. What I realized was this is the fruit tree segment. We actually have a whole tour segment of the urban farm too from before I left it. So for those of you that don't know, I lived at a place in Phoenix for 32 years. It was dubbed by me in 2002 the urban farm. It was my home. It had a third of an acre, 80 feet wide, 160 feet deep, and a primarily edible landscape. We had chickens and rainwater harvesting and food every day coming off of the property. And for from 2002 until 2022, when I vacated the space, um, we had tours. I used to do the first Saturday. I don't know if you know this, Janice. I used to do the first Saturday of the month for 10
Yeah.
months a year when I first started doing the tours. And then it got too much and too much of an impact on the neighborhood. So we went to three tours a year.
You know
And
what I love about the property
mm,
is the house is a reasonably sized house, but it's smack dab in the center of the lot. So your
yeah,
front yard and your backyard are very equally spaced,
yep,
and that gives a really good um, perspective or examples of what front yard and backyards can be, and somebody can visualize to adjust for their own. It's hard to visualize a front yard when you're looking at a postage stamp.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
or
Well,
backyard.
so, and I had flood irrigation at the urban farm. The thing is, I know multiple people, including our longtime friend Jake Mace, who did exactly what I did in his front and backyard without flood irrigation. So it is possible to do an edible landscape with and without. So
Yeah.
before I vacate, so 3.5 years ago, my partner Heidi and I moved from Phoenix to Asheville, North Carolina, and we've continued doing our fruit tree education in Phoenix. And before I left Phoenix, I paid a professional filming crew to come in and do 6 segments on the different pieces of infrastructure, one on water harvesting, one on fruit trees. I
You put
can't
a lot
remember.
of work into that. That was a lot of
Total,
fun. I remember your excitement around that time period.
yeah. And so what we're going to be showing today is the fruit tree segment of these sessions. And I've started a conversation with Janis to see how we can make these, all 6 of them, available for people to watch. So look out for that in coming months.
Yeah.
So that's what today's virtual farm tour is about. You want to slide us through, Janis? You want me to
Well,
speak to
this
this?
is a part of the Urban Farm Fruit Tree program that Greg has been developing for years, and
About
it's getting better.
26 years.
It's been getting better and better every year, but it started off with 3 steps. Greg, what were those 3 steps?
Learn. We do all kinds of free online education now. We do live events like this. We have our root camp, which we're going to tell you about later, because we are so dedicated to make sure that you know how to best grow and nurture fruit trees in the desert. And I've been growing fruit trees in Phoenix. I grew fruit trees in Phoenix from 1975 to 2022 when I left. I've made all the mistakes, I promise. And this is a culmination of that work. With Janis's help over the past 10 years, we've kind of bundled it up together and made a system out of it.
Mhm.
The other part of this is, and I interact with 1 to 2 people a day on email. If you have any questions about your fruit trees, snap a picture and email us. This is what we're here for. So that's the learn part, Miss Janis.
Right. And then we have the ordering. We do have a program similar to a Christmas tree lot where you can pre-order and come to a pop-up nursery to pick up fruit trees. These trees are only available in Phoenix. We do not ship them, but they are available in Phoenix. They are specifically selected for our area and our surrounding areas. So people do come from a little further out to come in and get them. And that's our ordering. We have an online order system that, well, we'll be honest, we'd love to make it a little bit better, but it is pretty dang good for considering the size of our company.
Yeah.
And then we have our pickup.
Hold on before you get past that. Something came up as you were sharing, and that was the big reason, that I started this 25, 26 years ago was because you could go, back then you could go into most nurseries in every big box store and they
Yeah.
would sell you a fruit tree that would never make fruit, and that made me mad. So I put together the education about it. And the thing is, you can still go to this day to most nurseries in every big box store and they will sell you a fruit tree that will never make fruit in the desert.
I
So,
did it just last month. I went to my local big box store and I saw fruit trees for sale
mhm,
I knew those varieties were not going to succeed here.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So one of the key pieces of our education program is that we only bring in fruit trees that work in the low desert. And that includes Las Vegas and Palm Springs. We've had people from Las Vegas, from Palm Springs, from
In
Southern
Tucson.
Arizona, Tucson, Southern
Yeah.
Arizona. But the products that we carry, the trees and plants that we carry, are specific for low desert. So you can trust, including the rootstocks, you can trust that they're appropriate for our area.
Now, growing trees in the desert, if you're not really aware of kind of the tricky parts of it, can be a little intimidating. which
Mhm.
is one of the reasons why we have so much education, but it is possible. And if you follow the guidelines that we give, your chances for success are phenomenally higher than normal. Every once in a while, something won't work, and we acknowledge that, but we're going to do everything we can to help you succeed before you get to a problem, or if you get a problem, to stop it and have that tree turn around into a thriving tree. As we're going to do everything we can to help you with that.
Yeah. Well, and we have a guarantee, and the guarantee is such that we'll work with you, we'll partner with you to grow fruit trees in the desert. And when the moment there's a problem with one of your fruit trees, you snap a picture and you email me and we decipher it right then. There's nothing I can do when this time of year it's been 10 months in the ground and I get an email from somebody, which happened the other day, and they said, my fruit tree died. Will you replace it? Well, we don't replace it. We'll split the cost of a new tree with you next year. But I needed to know what was going on with that tree 6 months ago.
Yeah.
So,
It's like, hey, this tree is dead and crack, the branches are broken because they're so dead that there's no life left in them. Like, that's a time issue. Let's go back in time, grab the problem when it starts, when you first notice it, and we can save you the headache and the hassle of having to replant something else.
yeah.
All right, so then the next step is pickup. We do have our local nursery pickup. We have transitioned into a scheduling program that we'll have more information on. And the step 4 and 5 is how to plant and how to do aftercare. All that is available through our education. I don't want to spend too much time on this more. Did we cover everything we need
Let's
to?
go. Yep.
All right. Fruit tree classes. This is where we educate.
Yes.
Um, we have refreshed our schedule and added 3 classes to help for those that missed them earlier this year, or for all our new peoples that are showing up. We have Monday, November 3rd. We have the first class, which is what to know before you buy a fruit tree. We have Tuesday, November 11th. That's a week later. We're going to do 3 ways to not kill your fruit tree. That's basically addressing some of the common mistakes that people do trying to plant a tree and take care of it.
And I get emails. I've been screaming about this for decades, and I still this week I got an email making the mistake, one of the mistakes, big mistakes in that class. So this is an important class to take.
So we challenge those of you who have seen this class multiple times or seen our lessons multiple times to go ahead and invite your friends and neighbors to go check out our classes
Yes.
so that they aren't making the mistakes. And maybe one year we'll get a full year without getting somebody going, I did one of these mistakes. And then November 17th is important. This is how to take care of your tree. That's planting, watering, and fertilizing. Watering is a very, very particular aspect that a lot of people have misconceptions on regarding how to water in the desert. And we address that in depth in that class. So that is how we are offering our education right now. I do want to say that we we're going to go into some pictures now. We're going to just focus on seeing some reality here. But the early bird season in our fruit tree program is very time sensitive. It helps us be able to place our order timely. And in our citrus season is closed, but our deciduous season is supposed to end October 31st. Greg and I decided, because of the chaos, because of some crazy things that are happening in the world, we're going to extend it just a little bit. Greg, when are we extending it to?
End of the day today for
End
the
of the day
bundle
today.
price. It's the bundle pricing that you want to get in on.
Yeah. So if you're watching this after the fact, we tried, but there's still be some good pricing. Unfortunately, the world is getting more expensive, but we're going to try and stick to our pricing as best we can on everything. And we're going to be as upfront with what's happening so you know what our schedule is. So you can go shop today at urbanfarm.org at Ordered Trees Now or urbanfarm.org/store. Both of those links will work. All right. Nope, we don't want that. Greg,
All
your turn.
right. Okay, so we are going to, let me find it here,
Get a tour. Woohoo!
get
Get
a
to see
tour.
the urban farm in its majesty. At least the fruit trees
Yes,
on the urban
the
farm
fruit
in its
trees,
majesty.
yeah. There we go. All right, I should be able to master the technology. You know, I've been in technology since 1985. You'd think I had a better grasp of it.
Now, y'all can write questions in the Q&A,
Yes, please.
and we will address those after the video.
There it is. There's the share. All right. All right, kids, here you go. Hey, welcome to the Urban Farm. My name is Greg Peterson. I've lived here for 32 years. And what I've done over the past 32 years is I've turned this place into an edible landscape, kind of like a food forest with food growing everywhere. One of the things that I love here at the Urban Farm, and one of the things that I love to do, is plant fruit trees. The reason being is you plant fruit trees once and you get fruit for dozens or hundreds of years. I have 2 citrus trees in the backyard that were planted in the 1920s. That's 100 years ago, and I get fruit off of them every year. It is important to note the 2 types of fruit trees. There are deciduous fruit trees and there are citrus fruit trees. What's the difference? Deciduous trees lose their leaves every winter during dormancy. Then they regrow and fruit. Examples of deciduous fruits are apples, apricots, peaches, plums, grapes, and berries. Citrus fruit trees will never lose all of their leaves, and if they do, there is a problem. Citrus fruit trees include oranges, lemons, and limes. This happens to be my favorite tree. It's a peach tree. It's called the Desert Gold Peach. It is an amazing, juicy peach, hugely prolific. It will make so many peaches you won't know what to do with them all, I promise. They absolutely will make your toes tingle and probably splash down the front of you. Enjoy. Oh, no. Oh. You got to get yourself one of these. Oh my God. That's heaven. Walking up the driveway here, this is the loquat. A loquat is an amazing tropical fruit that does really well here in the desert. The really cool thing about it is that it ripens in March. That's kind of an in-between season for me for getting fruit off of this particular tree and fruit off of the property. One of my goals has always been to get fruit all year round. The hard time to get fruit here is August, September, and October when it is so dang hot. So the loquat flowers in September, October, November, and it gives us fruit into March. That's really cool. One of the other things that I like doing is experimenting with growing fruit trees from seed. This happens to be a peach tree right here that I grew from a peach pit. I've been after this idea of getting a urban farm peach, one that I grow from a pit that we can then graft and make multiple ones of them. That way you could have an urban farm peach. Let's check out the rest of the yard and I'll do a count of the fruit trees that we have here in the front yard. Here I am in the front yard of the urban farm. And one of the ways that I start the tours is I tell people I have 30 fruit trees growing in the front yard here at the urban farm. And when you look at the space, it doesn't look like it because it's this big open space. Well, let's count them off real quick. Back behind you, we already talked about the peach, the loquat, and the desert gold peach. Remember, that's my favorite peach. Then across the front of the property, there's about 14 citrus trees. Why would I have 14 citrus trees across the front of the property? That's the front edge. It makes a really nice fence. It's a living fence that makes us fruit. Then across the back of the property here, we've got a mandarin quat. Mandarin quats are in the quat family. They look like citrus, They taste like citrus, but they're actually not a citrus. And those are the ones where you eat the skin and the inside. The skin is sweet and the inside's really tart. So it's great to julienne, put them on a salad like that. And then I have a lemon tree and 3 more navel oranges. I have like 12 navel oranges here on the property. And people look at me and say, why do you have 12 navel oranges on the property? First of all, I love them. Never plant a fruit tree or anything to eat unless you love it. Number 2, during the winter, so citrus ripens here in the desert from November to about March. That gives me 5 months of a harvest off of my navel oranges. And I jokingly say about 5 years ago, I finally got to the place where I was getting enough citrus that I could share some with my mom. So I eat lots and lots of citrus in the wintertime. I'll eat 4 to 6 navel oranges a day. And these trees give them to me. And then back over there in the corner, I got a plum and a pluery. A pluery is a plum cherry hybrid. Amazing. And around the corner here, I got an apricot and another peach. So you'll notice I'm ringing the front yard with fruit trees. And this happens to be my favorite one right here. I have a lot of favorites, what can I say? This happens to be one of my favorites. This is the Katy apricot. And this is the time of year when we're actually harvesting apricots. And come and check it out. These are the best ones to get. These are the ones that are nature picked. They're sitting on the ground. They're the best. I just, blow off some of the stuff if there's any stuff on them. Oh my God. That is the best. Katy apricot. Here we are. So that is a store-size apricot. We don't get a lot of those, partially because we're not actually thinning the fruit off of the tree when they're smaller. The more fruit on the tree, the less size you're going to get on the fruit themselves. Normally, we're getting something between here and here on the apricot, but they taste just as good. They dehydrate just as well. They make jam just as well. What you're seeing in the grocery store is the perfect fruit. What we're getting here is all of the fruit. So know that it's okay if you're not getting all your apricots like this. So today we're talking about everything that we can harvest here at the Urban Farm. And we've talked about peaches and apricots. We're going to talk about apples in a little while, but I don't want to miss all those cool things called seeds that are just happening in our front yard. So here at the Urban Farm, we have a food forest, and part of what propels the food forest forward are the seeds. So we let things go to seed. Right here, what are these? These are carrots. They're amazingly productive. In fact, I tell people that there is only one place on the planet that lack lives. It's between our ears, because when I look at my landscape, the amount of apricots and the amount of peaches and the amount of carrot seeds, there has to be 1,000 carrot seeds in this flower right here. And one of the things that I'll do often is I just walk up to the seed head, I grab it, and I throw the seeds out. They're planted for next year that way. And then here's a really cool thing. This is cilantro growing in the lawn. You'll notice how I mowed around it because I want it going to seed, because the older the seeds get in the yard, the more seasons that they go through replanting themselves, they become acclimatized to my space. So they'll grow better in the space. And at any given moment here at the Urban Farm, we have at least a couple dozen things that come up year after year after year. And they include parsley, oregano, basil, cilantro, lettuce, kale, Swiss chard, and there's so nasturtiums. There's so many more things that just replant themselves year after year after year. Lettuce makes so many seeds. Look at these. Each one of these little flowers makes, that's got to be a dozen seeds. That's a dozen lettuce plants that'll just end up growing in my landscape. I often get this question from people. Oh my gosh, what is this? This is an amazing flower. It's garlic. Grows underground. Some people don't know that, but the garlic bulbs grow under the ground and they are amazingly productive as well. So this garden bed looks a little bit overgrown. I'm aware of that. There are some weeds growing in here, but the nice thing about weeds, especially in the summertime in the desert, is they provide a green cover crop over the top of the garden beds that cools the soil. Really important, especially in the desert. Squash. So we're gonna just go right down here. We've got our first zucchini of the year. That's gonna make a nice zucchini bread. And one other thing I just noticed right here, this is something called lamb's quarters. Lamb's quarters is a weed, but it's an edible green and it is full of nutrition. You can literally just pick it, stick it in your salad, or eat it right off the plant. The other things that last year-round here at the urban farm are kale, broccoli, they'll last more than one season, carrots. So when we let our systems get managed by nature, like a food forest, like what happens in a forest, things seem to work a lot better. This is the apricot, one of our other apricots here on the urban farm. Again, the best ones are to pick off the ground. Over here on the left, this is our mid-pride peach. The mid-pride peach makes peaches about middle of June, which is really cool. Along with the 30 or so fruit trees in the front yard and everything going to seed and tomatoes, we have grapes. One of the things that I've done, this is the south line of my property, and I planted 3 or 4 grapevines along here, and you can see them. They just, again, create a very nice barrier between me and the neighbors. They make a nice privacy barrier, and they make grapes for us. So the thing about grapes in the desert is they don't get really big. We get more like pea-sized grapes than we do table grapes, but they are every bit as sweet. And you should plant some because they make great hedges and great food for you right in your yard. Here we are in the backyard next to my amazing Anna apple tree. As you can tell, it is incredibly productive. We'll get maybe 400 pounds of apples off of this tree this year. Remember, the only place that lack lives is between our ears, because when we look to nature, look at the abundance that's here. Here's what I do with the apples. Make dehydrated apple chips. We can make apple cider, both hard apple cider and apple juice cider. We can make apple cider vinegar. We can make apple sauce. We've done all of that with the apples off of this tree. This tree doesn't follow my urban orchard guidelines to keep the tree small so we can harvest it from standing on the ground. Well, that is on purpose because in the summertime, the sun sets right about there. So what this is doing is this is giving me a nice shade structure for the back patio in the late afternoon in the summer, which is really cool. So that's one thing it does. Number 2 thing it does, again, it gives me leaves for mulch. Number 3, it gives me fruit. The 4th thing for me on this tree is I can actually climb it. Yeah, okay, I know, I'm 60 years old, but I want to climb this tree. I wanted an apple tree in my yard that I could actually climb, and this one is it. So this year we are going to have an amazing amount of apple chips because that's mostly what I do with it. The other thing is we make applesauce, as I mentioned earlier, that Heidi uses as the butter additive to a lot of recipes that she uses so that we don't have to use as much butter. So there you go. Plant yourself an apple tree. They will bless you with an amazing amount of fruit. As part of my food forest, we have mulberries growing in the yard. And these are very interesting mulberries because of their size and their taste. And in permaculture, we have something called stacking functions. Stacking functions means that we use one asset, like a mulberry tree, for multiple things. Now, what this particular mulberry tree is doing is it's shading my office. My office is behind there, and this is a western exposure. So this cuts down the air conditioning bill of my office dramatically in the summertime, which is really cool. The second thing that this tree does is it makes amazing Pakistani mulberry fruit. The third thing it does is that it drops leaves every winter. And those leaves make mulch for my compost system here at the Urban Farm. This is an amazing tree. It was planted about 3 years ago at an inch diameter base, and it's easily 6 inches diameter now. Plus, there's nothing better than fresh food from your yard that you get to pick every single day. This is how we eat most of our fruit in our yard, standing out in the yard. So, I don't just plant fruit trees for the fruit, except this one. This fruit tree over here, this is a Trovita orange. It is an amazing orange. It's navel-like. It peels really well. There is a few seeds in it. The cool thing about the Trovita orange is it is an easy peel, and you can juice it. So you can either peel it or juice it. The other thing is this one here, notice how it's starting to get bigger. This one is the replacement shade for our back patio coming down the road. So here in the next 3 or 4 years, this tree here will be growing big enough that it's going to shade our outdoor kitchen. Whenever you're planting things in your yard, you want to see how many purposes it can serve. This tree, it makes fruit for us every year. It's going to provide shade. It's a habitat for birds. So how many things can you think of that your things, your assets, those things that you have in your yard can do for you? That's your challenge. Next, we're going to go check out my mulberry bushes and mulberry trees. It's the dwarf black mulberry. They're absolutely amazing. So these are dwarf black mulberries. Now they don't seem very dwarf. In fact, you're going to see the tree version here in a little while. I say the dwarf part is the berry. We get about a dime-sized berry on them, and they're amazingly sweet and so prolific. We literally get pounds and pounds of berries off of these. I like to use them as replacements for oleanders. People plant oleanders here a lot. This is a better thing. It gives us food that way. Come on in and check the harvest. We're getting toward the end of the harvest on this one, but this is what they look like right here. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Now let's go take a look at the tree version of the dwarf black mulberry. These I planted about 4 years ago. They were the size of a pencil when I planted them. Now they're about 5 inches in diameter and 15 feet tall. 4 weeks ago, there were 100 times that many berries up there. It was so packed with berries that it was mind-blowing. But that's a tree version. Welcome to the front yard at the Urban Farm. It is wintertime. All right, this is wintertime for the desert, and we're going to be talking about citrus and the citrus that we're harvesting from the front yard as we kind of navigate through the year. The really cool thing about my front yard is that for 10 months a year, I get to harvest food. And the interesting thing is that the citrus comes in the winter. So we start harvesting navel oranges, and we have two different kinds of navel oranges here. We've got the Cara navel, which is a pink navel, and we've got the regular navel oranges, and we start harvesting them about the third week of November, which is really cool. And then we've got pink grapefruit that are just amazing. These are the Rio Red pink grapefruit, and they start about the beginning of January. And then we have Mineola Tangelos, and they're easy peel, they're really sweet, and January, February time frame on these. And then we have my second favorite citrus. So my first favorite is the Cara navels. My second favorite is the Trovita orange. Now, the thing about the Trovita oranges is that you can peel it or you can juice it. Navel oranges aren't great for juicing, but Trovita oranges are great for juicing. They're easy peel if you want to peel them and eat them. The thing about Trovita is that they have a few seeds in them, and these will be on the tree well into February and early March. So we have our navel oranges that are in November, December, January, and we have our Trovita oranges, which are January, February, and March. So we have an orange that we can eat in the yard for 6 months a year. And we even have some Arizona sweet oranges on the trees in the very back, and they'll go into the summer. So we can actually harvest the Arizona sweets into May and June, which, you know, that gives us, what, 8 months of citrus in the yard? And then we have the quat family. They're actually not a citrus. They're a different family, but they're very citrus-like. And with the quats, this happens to be a mandarin quat. That's what you're looking at behind me with all the little teardrop things on them. You eat the skin, which is sweet, and the inside, which is tart. If you're doing a salad, you can julienne them up and kind of sprinkle them on the salad. That will blow your mind. They're amazing for that. And then, of course, lemons. This happens to be a Eureka lemon. There's several lemons that do really well here in the desert. And one of my all-time favorites, this is the Gold Nugget Mandarin. It's super simple to peel. There might be a few seeds in it. It's super sweet and just an amazing fruit. It looks a little gnarly. It's got bumps on it, but don't let that fool you. Those bumps make it incredibly tasteful. This is what I'm harvesting from my yard in the wintertime, starting again in November, going through about May or June, by the hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And, you know, I get the question a lot. People ask me, well, what do you do with all that fruit? And I jokingly say, well, about 3 years ago, I finally got enough that I could share some with my mom, because I eat so much citrus. I love citrus. It's one of my favorite fruits. I'll eat 3 to 5 navel oranges a day. One of the things that I love doing is whenever somebody visits, I always send them away with a bag of citrus, because these days we probably get 1,000 pounds of citrus a season. So I can't eat all that myself, so I bag it up and I share it. And there are actually a couple of nonprofits that we harvest it for and send it to them as well. So the cool thing about citrus is they're so prolific here in the desert, and they make an amazing amount of fruit, more than we'll ever know what to do with. So it's lots and lots and lots to share with your friends. So I get this question a lot. How do we know when our citrus is ready to harvest? And it's actually a really simple answer. You got to pick one and try it. What I found a few years ago is that the navels, you can actually harvest them when they're still a little bit green, and they taste great that way. But first indicator is the citrus changes color to orange or yellow or whatever color that particular citrus is supposed to be. And then you pick one, peel it and try it. And if it's good and sweet, you're good to go. Harvest away. So another question I get is, do we eat the fruit that falls to the ground? And we here at the Urban Farm, we try and harvest it off of the tree before it actually falls. And typically what happens is if a fruit falls, it's damaged in some way. So you want to be really careful about that. So pick one up off of the ground, look all the way around it. You know, pick it up off of the ground, look all the way around it. If it looks like it's still whole and there's no holes in it, I'd break it open and eat it. But if there's any damage on it whatsoever, I'd pass. One of the things that I really like about citrus, first of all, we talked about this a minute ago, and that's how prolific it is when it makes fruit. The second thing is that citrus is probably the easiest fruit to grow here in the desert. So if you follow the Urban Farm directions, get your fruit in the ground, you fertilize it regularly, you're gonna foliar fertilize it regularly. It's a pretty straightforward and simple process, and really by year 3, you should be getting enough fruit for your family, and by year 5, you're gonna be getting enough fruit to give away. So I've lived here in the desert for 54 years. I've been eating citrus for that entire time. I've lived here at the Urban Farm for 32 years. And I eat so much citrus that I had to kind of figure out a super simple way to open an orange. And what I found is that we start by scoring it with a knife. So I score the top, and usually the top pops right off like that. And then what I do is I score a line, usually about 4 of them, around it, like that. And then I grab my trusty little spoon, and you're taking it and you're pushing the spoon along the edge between the skin and the orange, and they just pop right off. It makes it so incredibly simple to peel it and then get ready to eat it. So there we go. What'd that take, about 15 seconds? Then you open the puppy up and you pop one in. Oh my gosh. Tastes so good. And it tastes even better because you grew it, and you know that it's organic if you're growing organic, and you get to go out in your yard and pick it. Every day I go out and pick 3 or 4 oranges, or 5 or 6 oranges, take them inside, peel them just the way I shared with you, and there's my food for the day. Well, at least some of my food for the day. Welcome to the back patio, outdoor kitchen at the Urban Farm. This is where we process a lot of our fruits and vegetables that we grow. And one of the most important things that you need to be paying attention to is once you get this harvest, what do you do with it? So you have to figure out in advance what to do with them so that you know when you get 200 or 300 pounds of apples, like we're going to get off of the apple tree here in the next couple of weeks, what are you going to do with them all? One of my favorite things to do with apricots is dehydrate them. One of my favorite things to do with apples is to dehydrate them. Apples are super simple. We take an apple. We have this really cool apple coring machine that cores the apple for us just like that. Then it goes right on the dehydrator tray. For the apricots, they're super simple as well. We cut them in half, put them on the dehydrator tray, and then they go in the dehydrator for about 15, 16 hours. And then we just have them dehydrated, and we can eat them whenever we want. These are from last year, 12 months ago. Gotta love it, man. It's like nature's candy. The nice thing about the apples is they're sweet. Nice thing about the apricots is they're a little bit tart. I love putting them in my oatmeal in the mornings. So they say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago or right now. Here's one that's right now. Here's one that's almost 20 years old. It's the best thing that you can do for your family. It will nurture you. It'll nurture your family. It'll change your local food system, and you'll be able to get fruit out of your yard every month of the year if you plant it that way. Just get out and plant trees. Grow some food. There we go.
I was trying to
I'm,
click on the screen
I
and a pop-up showed up and I couldn't get the pop-up to close. That
I
was
was
cool to see.
I was gonna say they're them apples.
Apples.
I'm gonna be planting it. I've been working on a basin video in a lawn here, and I've got two
Nice.
apples, pill shape, and I've got two apples going, apple trees going in it. So I'll be making a new basin video here real soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
So
what time of year was that recorded? That was a
that
question
was
that came through.
great question. Thank you for that, Mandy. The first two-thirds of it about the deciduous trees, the peaches, apricots, mulberries, that was all filmed in May, probably of 2021. And then the fall one was filmed in probably November, excuse me, November, December of 2021.
You were busy.
Yeah, there you go. So great question on that. Did you see that question from Nancy?
Yes, I was going
All
to
right.
go there when we talked about that.
All right,
Nancy had
perfect.
a question about being able to pick up some additional items in Mesa.
Yeah,
Yes, Mandy, you can. All you need to do is place an order online and select Mesa pickup, and we will go ahead and make sure that Dallin is ready. And Dallin does have a couple liquid amendment combos ready and the tree paste and the moisture. So I think he's got all of that stuff right now. So
yeah.
anytime.
What we don't have at our alternate location are the big bag stuff.
Right.
Bag soils, bag mulch, big bags of fertilizer.
Yeah.
All
That's the
right,
wonderful thing about our friend Dallin, who has been supporting our program for what, 3, 4 years now by
at least.
allowing
Yeah.
pickup at his house. Yeah, he's been awesome.
All
All
right, so
right.
we got some more slides and
Tammy says her mouth is watering, fond memories of time and eating and food at your urban farm. All right, so should we gonna go back to the slides? The one of the things that we have been doing is our fruit tree classes, and while we are replaying or redoing having live classes for the first three, we still have our tree chats. Now, our tree chats are monthly, almost every month of the year we do these opportunities where we talk about what you need to do at that time of year to help care for your trees. This really helps new tree parents get in a rhythm of what to take care of in January, in March, in April. What do we need to do at that time? And we do topical uh, conversations about pruning, about watering, about uh,
fertilizing.
fertilizing, about thinning, about foliar feed. Just different topics will spring out throughout the year to help address concerns, questions, queries. I like my alliteration I've got going there.
I
But
wanna I wanna really point out that 80+% of the issues coming in when people send me pictures of their fruit trees is because the trees are malnourished. They're not getting enough food. And you're going to learn in my 3 ways to kill your fruit trees class, or not to kill your fruit trees, to put a basin around the base of the tree and start building soil and feeding your trees regularly.
and we address in our classes one really tricky thing about proper nutrition and hydration. The combination of the two, you can have one really good and one not so good, and that it'll end up affecting the other. So we'll
Yeah.
address that in our planting, watering, and fertilizing class too. Um, and then consults. Greg, what in the world? Are you still doing consults?
I am still doing consults. I do multiple ones every month. Basically,
Mhm.
what we do is we get together. You provide me information. You give me your address so I can look you up on Google Maps, and a list of questions and pictures of your space, and we get together on a phone call or a Zoom call and chat about what you would like to know about your space. I have been doing them for, I'm going to say 12, 14 years now,
Yeah.
and they're super informative. They do come up with a they do come with a money back guarantee, sorry. And not sorry for the money back guarantee, but sorry I got distracted. They do come with the money back guarantee, and I have yet to give people their money back because they
Well,
weren't
the
happy.
important thing
So,
is when people come and they send us questions and they give us information on the lot or an email or even on our things, there are frequent times when when the question comes to us and our answer starts off with, it depends.
like
Because,
always, like always.
yeah, our answer, it depends, is a lot more common than you would think. We can still give you an answer, but in order to personalize it specific for your space, we really need to be delving more into what you have going on there, and that's where the consult helps.
Yeah.
All right. Um, root camp.
Ooh. This is a long time coming.
Hmm.
Um, we have so much propagation, growing, nurturing information that Janice got a wild idea, what, 2 years ago now?
I think we're going
Maybe
on
3
3,
years
but
ago,
you
to
know
put
what
it
the
all
problem
together
was
in
is
one
that we would
place.
have, I'm sorry, yeah, we're talked.
No, please go ahead.
Well, the problem was we would be needing information that we had already given out. And you're like, hey, let's find that one video about this, or let's go
Yeah,
find that thing. And it was all over the place trying to find it. And I needed one place to be able to to source it out because there was so much.
yeah. So you can sign up for it. It's free if you go to fruittrees.org. I'm just checking it right now. Fruittree.org, fruittrees.org, plural. There's a button on the front page that says join root camp.
Root camp. Yeah.
And they're
Nice and
on
easy.
demand. They're on demand classes. So,
Which basically means you get to watch them as often as you need, whenever you need.
and
However, whether you do that on your
ex
phone or your computer, or your tablet, it's all at your access.
yeah. And some of them are short lessons, some of them are a 2 minute, 3 minute video, some of them are these full classes. This one will be going in there as well.
Yeah. And and some are PDFs, some are downloadable documents, yeah, different things. All right.
All right.
So once again, early bird season is ending at the end of today. Today is November 1st, 2025. So we have extended it one day to allow us to have this class and have one last chance to answer some questions. Our early bird bundles will be disappearing, but we still have some good pricing until the end of the year, and then we have to go to our lot pricing. So
Yeah.
yay, get your orders
So
in now.
the bundles are important. The other thing is while we're on this call today, I've noticed a couple of the tropic snow peach
Mm-hmm.
is probably sold out. The Parfianca uh, pomegranates are getting really low. I've seen a lot of notices this week.
So we're running out
Notices
of
this
slow.
week that we're running out of stuff. Yeah,
That will address a question we have. Sandra asked, when will we know when the tropic snow is available?
yeah,
At this time, anything in the cart that says checking inventory, we have to wait until the trees actually show up. We give
yeah.
ourselves a little bit of a cushion to make sure on every single availability that we can do an inspection. Um, because every year there's one or two or three trees that we just like, nope, we're not selling that.
Yeah.
We don't know which variety it's going to be. So we have a cushion on all of our trees that says we're holding back a certain number until we know what we get. Tropic snow has in the past happened to been a variety where we didn't get everything we ordered.
Hmm.
Um, So we just kind of like, nope, we're going to hold off. We're not going to open it. In order to answer her question of when will we know? We will know when in the early week of January, after we complete our inventory receiving and inspection, because all of our trees go through an inspection top to bottom to make sure that they are viable for sale. And after we do that, we do a count on the trees, and that's when I update the website. So if anything says checking inventory, we need to double check in January to see what the true numbers are.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks. Next slide.
So pickup, we do have questions coming out right now. Hey, when can I schedule my pickup? I'm not going to schedule that until I'm not going to open that up until the end of December, because what I have to do is I have to make sure that we have staffing on those days. And I try to schedule the appointment slots based on the number of tree crew that we have so that we're not overwhelmed. And that number will fluctuate as I get more tree crew signing up. So
So
come back.
one of the big bonuses that came to us out of COVID was my partner Heidi says, "Why
Love
don't you
Heidi.
sign, thank you, Heidi. Why don't you sign up people for appointments?" And it used to be, you remember this, Janice, it used to
Oh,
be
yeah.
sometimes people would show up at the lot on the first weekend and have to wait 2 to 3 hours to get their trees. And now with scheduling appointments, it works so magically well.
Tammy can attest to that. Tammy was
Yeah,
there when we used to have 40 people showing up in the first half hour, and we only have the capability of helping maybe 6 people, 6 orders every half hour, six to
yeah.
10 on a really good day. But
So,
yeah,
yeah, scheduling pickups are magic. So,
yeah.
all right, what's our next slide? Ah,
Just
perfect.
go ahead.
So, thank you, Janice. Get your trees ordered now. We're running low on things. The bundle pricing is disappearing today. The pre-order pricing, the early bird pricing is disappearing today. Um, and so, yeah, get your tree orders in now for your best selection.
Yeah.
Uh, so, I did something in 1991 called a permaculture design course. It changed my life forever. I like to call permaculture the art and science of working with nature. How do we work in the flow of nature rather than against nature? We human beings think we know how to do it better than nature, and that's a joke.
Cocky, aren't we?
Yeah. I wrote this in 19, I recently found this. This is posted on my Facebook banner.
Uh-huh.
It says, our downfall as a species that we're arrogant enough to think we can control Mother Nature and stupid enough to think it's our job. And permaculture gave me an outlet, a space to think differently on how to um, be with nature, how to be with my yard, how to flow through life. And every year we do a 72-hour permaculture design course. It starts in February. Don Titmus is our main uh,
Educator.
educator, along with a bunch of other people. And um, we will be doing in November, our garden chat is a review of the ethics and principles of permaculture. And in December, we're actually doing an introduction to permaculture class online. So you'll be able to take that. This is an in-person course. It's over 5 weekends, and I promise you, it will change your life forever. If
And
you,
if you want to know a little bit more about permaculture to decide whether or not it's worthwhile, we do
Mhm,
have an intro to permaculture class going to be happening.
mhm,
And Greg and Dawn have been talking permaculture every month in our garden chat. So go
mhm.
back to our podcasts and check out this year's garden chat conversations.
Yes, exactamundo. If
Yeah.
you are interested, you want to talk about it, shoot me an email, greg@urbanfarm.org, and I'd be more than happy to schedule a chat with you
Dawn's going to be at the hold on. Next week
next
is the
weekend.
seat up. Don will
Yes.
be there to answer questions too about the permaculture design. He's going to have a table. But what's the seed up, Greg?
The Great American Seed Up. You can see from this picture a room full of people with tables, and those small yellow things are popcorn buckets. And the popcorn buckets are popcorn buckets full of different kinds of seeds, different varieties of open pollinated seeds. I touched on it in the video. And this is an opportunity to buy an obscene amount of seeds to really stock up our local seed economy in Phoenix. That's the reason we designed it. I do have to tell you, we are this close, a millimeter away from cutting off tickets. We have sold more tickets this year for this event than we ever have.
Yeah.
And so if you want tickets for it, go get them now or as soon as we get off the phone, off this event, but go get them now because we will fill up.
Yeah, we are going to limit walk-ins because I believe that we are at capacity and they're not going to allow us to have that many people in the room.
Oh,
So walk-ins are going to be limited.
all right. Is there
All
a next
right.
slide? I
Um,
think yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Janice.
I was gonna say, you can still go order. I wanted to address a couple of questions, so I'm going to stop sharing real quick. Um,
Yeah,
Carol says, how much time daily does maintenance require on your trees?
I'd go monthly rather than daily.
Yeah, here's the question. Maintenance is more of a monthly thing, or maybe bi-weekly if you need to do some extra care for foliar feeding. And depending on how your watering is set up, if it's set up on an automatic system that you can just turn it on, then you can do that once a month to twice a month. In the really hot days, you can do it around every about 10 days or
Mhm.
so. Um, but maintenance is not really a daily thing.
It's
Um,
not. I'd say the biggest piece of maintenance that I would suggest for the biggest bang for your buck is a twice a month drench. You're going to fertilize with a granular fertilizer on Valentine's Day, Tax Day, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. So however long it takes you to give it a granular fertilizer. And then a drench is you take a 5-gallon bucket and put some liquid fertilizer in that 5-gallon bucket, just an ounce or so. No,
we got to
Genesis.
change.
Yep.
You're going to take your drench formulas and you're just going to pour it in the basin and then follow up with the liquid. You don't
Ah,
have to carry the 5-gallon bucket anymore. We found out
very
that this
good.
was a simple, but
So,
same process. We're going to be
yeah.
giving a drench of a liquid fertilizer followed with a nice deep watering once or twice a month.
Yep. So that's a monthly, assuming you have it on some kind of automated water system, which is really important in the desert. That doesn't take much time at all. Pruning per fruit tree probably would take 2 hours once a year.
Depending on how many trees you have, how big they are,
Well, per tree.
what your shape is.
Yeah, per tree,
Yeah.
probably 2 hours once a year. And then um, picking your fruit, however long that takes.
Maybe some thinning.
Maybe a little
Maybe some
thinning.
thinning on some of your trees. You might need to do some thinning. And the nice thing about your trees is you get to go out every few days and just kind of enjoy them. That's not really maintenance for the trees. That's maintenance for ourselves.
That's not, hold on, let's see. That's not really maintenance for the tree. That's maintenance for me.
That's yeah, for ourselves. That's our grounding, our
Yeah.
benefits that we get from our trees.
I like
Carol, we
this.
hope we answered your questions on that.
Yeah. Anne says, is there a fruit tree I can plant now and provide fruit in a year? No.
Well,
No. The way we
no.
suggest it, no. The way we suggest it is first year is about developing the roots, getting them planted, developing the roots. Year number two is shoot development, branch development. And sometimes in year two, you can get a little fruit. Year number three is the fruit year.
I'm gonna say there's one.
Dwarf
There's
black
one
mulberry,
plant that might give you fruit in a year. It won't give you a lot because it won't be that big, but that would be the dwarf black mulberry.
dwarf black mulberry, yeah, but not
Um,
much. Really, it takes 3 years. Uh-oh, somebody just claimed one of our final tickets to
oh
the Great American Seed Up. I saw the order come through.
no. There we go.
All right.
All right.
Um,
Thank you all for showing up today.
yes, and we'll be posting this as a recording today, and I'll be getting that out to everybody on the list that
Yes.
registered.
Now, also, we're going to be doing some maintenance on our email system. So we might be sending you out an email that says, hey, double check, make sure you're getting what you want. So watch out for that. Let us make sure that we're giving you what you need.
Perfect. Thank you, Janice. What are you doing today?
I'm counting seeds.
You're counting seeds. You're getting the warehouse, the seed warehouse ready for our big event next weekend.
I'm going to go make sure that I know how many seeds we have so that we can make sure we've got the right scoops and stuff for everybody. So,
Yeah.
yep, I'm getting ready for the Great American Seed Up.
Woo!
What are you
All
doing
right.
today?
I am going to go and plant 2 apple trees, believe it or not.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we're going to get them planted, videotaped and planted, and maybe even get that video in process.
Oh, fun, fun.
Yeah. So
Well, shout out to our tree crew that show up and assist in so many different ways. Shout out to our support team. We've got our social media person. What's her name?
Mia
Mia, who's been helping us with social media. We got Robert, who's been helping us with our order system and our podcast. We've got Ray, who's been and Dallin, who are helping with our general store pickups. So just wanted to say, as we're
and
wrapping up our early
Tammy
bird season,
and
thank you so
Tammy,
much for those. And our tree crew people, we got Tammy, we got Jordan, we
Jordan,
got um, now you're gonna do about Catherine and
Angela,
Angela and
Chris, and
oh, you're gonna make me do this, and I'm gonna forget all the names. But
that's
our
a
tree crew, Emmett and Elise, and we just have about 10 or 12 people that come on a regular basis, and we shout out to thank you to all of them
hey,
as well.
yeah, Chris has been with us for about coming up on
14, 15
20,
years?
15, 16, 17 years. Yeah.
Yeah, longer than I have.
All right,
Yep.
kids. Thank you for showing up today. And we'll see you in our upcoming classes.
Yeah. See you
Uh,
soon.
thanks, Janice. Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
Greg. Bye bye.